For today's STAR skills worksheets, we're going to concentrate on graphing and make sure that you have the basic fundamental skills of graphing that you're going to need not only for STAR, but also for the rest of this class, because we are going to spend the rest of this year talking about functions, linear functions, quadratic functions, and exponential functions. And every one of those units is going to require you to either be able to read graphs or create graphs on your own. So on the first page of the packet, the first thing they do is they give you points and they want you to determine what letter goes on that point. So one thing you have to remember is anytime you are given a point pair, it is always x coordinate, then y coordinate. And your x coordinate is left to right, and your y coordinate is up and down. So, for point 1, we are given -3, -3. That means you go left to -3 and down to -3, and point P is located at this point. Number 2, -5, +1. That means left to -5, up to +1, and that is point T. Point 3, +9, +7. That means we go right to +9 and up to +7, and that would be point U. Next, we have +7, +1. That means we go right to +7 and up to +1, and that would be point C. Number 5, -8, -9. That means we go left to x equals -8, down to y equals +9 or -9, and we have point B. Number 6, we have +6, -8. That means we go right to x equals 6, we go down to y equals -8, and we're at point F. Number 7, we're at +9, +8. That means we go right to x equals +9, up to y equals +8, and we're at point N. And number 8, we're at -6, +3. That means we go left to x equals -6, up to y equals 3, and we're at point H. So this is how you take the point pair and locate the corresponding point on the graph. In this next portion, they want us to take each letter and then write the corresponding ordered pair for each point. So number 9 wants point M. We can see that that is at x equals -1 and y equals 4. So when we write it, we write -1, 4. Number 10 is point X. We can see that that is right in the middle at x equals 0 and up at y equals 2. So when we write the point, we write 0, 2. Number 11 wants coordinate for w. We can see that w is where x equals negative 5 and y equals negative 8. Number 12 wants point I. We can see that that is where x equals negative 7 and y equals negative 8. Number 13 wants point R. We can see that is where negative x, or where x equals negative 1 and y equals negative 9. Number 14 wants point Q. We can see that is where x equals 3 and y equals negative 9. Number 15 wants point V. We can see that's where x equals 5 and y equals 5. And number 16 wants point K. We can see that's where x equals negative 6 and y equals negative 4. So anytime you're writing the coordinate pair, you are writing the x coordinate first and the y coordinate second. And now they want us to take these point coordinates and graph the points on the coordinate plane. So A is going to be at negative 9, negative 6. So we go over to negative 9 and down to negative 6. And we put a point right here and label that as A. Number 18 wants us to put L at negative 6, negative 6. So we go over to x equals negative 6, down to y equals negative 6, and we put a point right here, and we label that as point L. Number 19 wants us to put G at negative 3, negative 6. So x equals negative 3, y equals negative 6, and this point right here would be G. Number 20 wants D at negative 6, negative 2. X equals negative 6, y equals negative 2, and this point right here will be point D. Number 21, E is at 3, 1. So x equals 3, y equals 1, and this point right here will be E. Number 22, Z is at 9, 6. X equals 9, y equals 6, and this point right here will be point Z. Number 23, y is at 2, negative 1. So x equals 2, y equals negative 1. And we said that was point Y. And finally, number 24, S is at 7, 7. X equals 7, Y equals 7, and this is point S. If you have any questions about coordinate pairs in a 4-quadrant coordinate plane, please use class time to ask for clarification, because this is a very important skill that you will need for your STAR test, your PSAT and SAT tests, and the rest of this class and Algebra 2 as well. On page 2, they want us to sketch each line and find the slope and y-intercept. And they're giving us the equations in slope-intercept form. So one thing to understand is that slope-intercept form is in the form y equals mx plus b. M is the number in front of x, and that is always your slope. And b is the number by itself, and that is always your y-intercept. So what you want to do is first take a look at your y-intercept. We see that the number by itself is 4, so your y-intercept is the point 0, 4. And it will always start with 0 because in order to be on the y-axis, you must be at 0 for x. So we're going to plot the point 0, 4 on the graph. Now we need the slope. The slope is always the number in front of the x. So in this case, our slope is 1/2. What that tells us to do is to start at the point for our y-intercept. And remember, your slope is the change in y over the change in x. So that means we go up 1 and right 2. Once we have 2 points, now we can go ahead and draw the line that connects them and makes our graph. Now we can look at number 2. Again, start with the y-intercept, which is the number that's by itself. In number 2, that is positive 2. So my y-intercept is 0, positive 2. And that's where I'm going to put my point on the y-axis. My slope is negative 7/6 because that's the number in front of the x. That tells me to start at my point on the y-axis, go down 7 spots, and right 6, which would put us right about here. And then we can draw our point that connects them, and that would give us the line that this represents. Number 3, start with your y-intercept. That's the number by itself. In this case, that's positive 1, so the y-intercept is at the point 0, 1. And that's where we're going to draw it. The slope is the number in front of x, which is 2 over 3. That tells us to start at the intercept, go up 2, and right 3 to make our next point. Now that we have 2 points, we can draw the line that connects them, and we've graphed this equation. Number 4. Start with the y-intercept. That's the number by itself. In number 4, that's -3. So the y-intercept is 0, -3. And that's where we'll start with our point. The slope is the number in front of the x. So the slope is -4/9. That tells us to go down 4 spots. So right around here. But then we're going to go over 9 spots. So that could be right about here. Draw the line that connects them. And that's what our graph would look like. Number 5, the y-intercept. We have -4 by itself. So the y-intercept is 0, -4. We go to 0, -4 and put our point. The slope is 4. So this tells us to go up 4 over 1 and put our second point. And now we draw the line that connects, and we have our graph. Number 6. The number by itself is -2. So the y-intercept is 0, -2. And that's where we put our point on the graph. The number in front of x is -2/5. So our slope is -2 over 5. That tells us to start at the y-intercept, go down 2, right 5, and put our second point. We draw the line that connects them, and we have our graph. Number 7, the number by itself is 3. So the y-intercept is 0, 3. That's where we put our point on the graph. The number in front of x is 3/2. So that is our slope. We go up 3 over 2. And we put our second point. And then we draw the line that connects them. And we have our graph. And finally, number 8. The number by itself is -4. So the y-intercept is 0, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The number in front of the x is 5/2. So the slope is 5 over 2. That tells us to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right 1, 2. Put our next point and draw the line that connects them. And we have our graph. If you have any questions about how to use slope-intercept form to find your graph or find your y-intercept, find your slope, and draw your graph, please use class time to ask for clarification. Page 3. Sketch each line and write the equation. So, we know that our y-intercept is at 4, which means putting the point at 4 on the y-axis. Our slope is -1. That means to go down 1, right 1, and put our next point. Now we can sketch our line. And if we're writing the equation, it's y equals our slope, x, plus our y-intercept, 4. Number 2. We know the y-intercept is 5. That means go up to 5 and put our y-intercept. Now our slope is 7/3. That means go up 7 and write 3. But we run out of graph. So we can also do the opposite. We can go down 7 and left 3 to put our second point. Now you can see that from this point, we would go up 7, right 3 to get to our y-intercept. Now we can draw the line that connects them, and we have our graph. And the equation is y equals the slope, 7/3, x, plus the intercept, 5. Number 3. We have our y-intercept at -4, so we're going to put our point at y equals -4. The slope is 4. That means we go up 4, right 1. And you can do that once, or you could even do this again. Up 4, right 1, and put the next point. So now you can draw the line connecting these points, and you have your graph, and the equation is y equals the slope, x, and then the y-intercept, -4. Number 4, we see that the y-intercept is -1, so we put our point at -1. The slope tells us to go down 5, right 2. And we could put a second point right here. We could also do the opposite, which would be up 5, left 2, and we would find the previous point. Now we can draw the line connecting them, and we have our graph. And to write the equation, we have y equals the slope, -5/2, x, and the y-intercept, -1. Next, we have number 5. We can see the y-intercept is -1. Means we're going to go down to y equals -1 and put our slope, or our y-intercept. Our slope is 1/2. That tells us to go up 1, right 2, and put our next point. And we can do that again. Go up 1, right 2. And we have our next 2 points. If we wanted the previous points, we could do the opposite. We could go down 1, left 2, and down 1, left 2. And now we can connect all the points together. We have our graph, and the equation is y equals the slope x and the y-intercept minus 1. Number 6. The y-intercept is 3, so we go up to y equals 3, and we put our y-intercept. The slope is 3 halves, which tells us to go up 3, right 2. We could also do the opposite to get the previous points. Down 3, left 2. Down 3, left 2. And now we can connect the points. And we have our graph. The equation is y equals the slope x and the y-intercept plus 3. Number 7. The y-intercept is negative 3. We go down to y is negative 3, and we put our y-intercept. The slope is negative 6. That would tell us to go down 6, right 1, but we run out of graph here. So what we can do is the opposite to get the previous point. And we can go up 6, left 1. Now you see that from this point, if we went down 6, right 1, we end up at our y-intercept. So now we draw our line connecting them, and we have our equation. Y equals the slope x the y-intercept. And finally, number 8, the y-intercept is negative 5. So we go down to y is negative 5, and we put our y-intercept. Our slope is 8 over 3. That tells us to go up 8, right 3, and put our next point. Now we can draw the line connecting them, and we have our graph. And again, the equation is y equals the slope x the y-intercept. So if you have any questions about how to draw the graph when you are given the y-intercept and the slope, or if you have any questions about how to write the slope-intercept form of the equation when you are given the slope and the y-intercept, please use class time to ask for clarification, because these are important skills moving forward in this class and on your STAR test. On page 4, we're going to sketch each line. This time, they don't give you the y-intercept or the slope, and they don't ask you to find them first. So this just gives you practice looking directly at the equation and being able to draw just based off of that. So if you remember, y equals mx plus b. M is your slope. B is the y-intercept. So y-intercept is at negative 2. We put our first point. The slope is negative 2 over 3. So we go down to right 3. and we put our next point. If we do the opposite, up to left 3, we get the previous point. And now we can draw the line connecting these, and we have our graph. Number 2, the y-intercept is -3, so we put that, and our slope is -6. We can't go down 6, right 1 because we run out of graph. But we can do the opposite and go up 6, left 1, and now we find the previous point. We can draw the line that connects these, and we have the graph of our line. Number 3, we can see that our y-intercept is at -1. We can see that our slope is -4/3. That means go down 4, right 3, and put our next point. We can also do the opposite, which is up 4, left 3, and find the previous point. Now we can draw the line connecting them, and we have the graph of our equation. Number 4, we see that our y-intercept is -3. From there, we see that our slope is -7/5. We can't go down 7 because we run out of graph, but we can do the opposite and go up 7, left 5, and put our next point there. Draw the line that connects them, and we have the graph of our equation. Number 5, we can see that the y-intercept is +2. So we start by putting our y-intercept point at 0, 2. Now we have a slope of -2. That means go down 2, right 1, and put a point. And we can continue repeating this down to over 1 to get more points on here. We can also do the opposite, up to left 1, to get a point before the y-intercept. Now we've got our points. We can join them together, and we have the graph of our line. Number 6, we see that our y-intercept is +3. That means we place our point at 0, 3 on the y-axis. We see that our slope is 3/2. So that would mean go up 3, right 2. And we have a point right here. We can also do the opposite to get the ones before. We can go down 3, left 2, and put a point. And again, down 3, left 2, to get another point. And now we can connect our points together to draw our line. And there we have the graph of equation in number 6. Number 7, we can see that the y-intercept is -5. So we put our y-intercept at 0, -5 on the axis. We see that our slope is 8/3. That means we go up 8 spots and we go right 3 spots to put our next point. And now we connect our points and draw the graph of our line. And finally, number 8, we see that our y-intercept is +2. That means we place it at 0, positive 2 on the y-axis. From there, our slope is positive 3. That means go up 3 and right 1 and put a point up here. We can also do the reverse to get points before the y-intercept. So instead of going up 3, right 1, we can go down 3, left 1. And again, down 3, left 1. Now we have 4 points. We can draw the line that goes through all of them. And we have the graph of our line. If you have any questions about how to draw the graphs of lines when they are in slope-intercept form, please use class time to ask for clarification. This is an important skill for your STAR testing, your PSAT and SAT testing, and everything we will do in this class for the rest of the year.